Good afternoon. We're about to embark on a big job here, and so I've got this panel all laid out here, and I'm gonna have, I don't know how many people are going to build this thing with me, but we thought we would just start right at the beginning. I got this piece of half-inch particle board here. This stuff is cheap, and I have it the same, or actually larger than the panel we're going to build, and so I'm going to go ahead and attach the get it some masking tape here. I'm going to attach the cartoon because we don't need a pattern. This is all we're going to need. Okay, I'm going to attach the cartoon to this board. Okay, and we don't want it moving around right now because we're fastening it down. I'll show you where I'm at with this thing. Okay, and then right to here. All right. Okay, that way the drawing's not going to move around on us. Get a look at the drawing. I've got this thing posted on my Facebook page, the whole drawing. It's 16 3/4 wide, 31 1/2 tall, the drawing that I have right here. If you'll notice, and we're going to start from the very beginning, I don't have any U-channel set on this thing because that's not how I build these. I don't put the U-channel on there first because I don't want the glass to have to take that incline or angle up to get into this U-channel, and then we start working from there. So that's something that I do different than most other people. So that's the way we're going to do that. All right, now what I've done right now is I've fastened down a little, this is a thin board here. I just use whatever I have. I have a little thicker piece of wood here, but I have a wooden border screwed down to this board here. This allows us to move this thing around, and I got it right on the cartoon, but I wanted it to be straight, and I'm looking at, there we are, so we know we're square there, and I come down here, and I want, of course, this piece of wood right here to line up with this piece of wood, and we have that. So I normally build these things from the bottom up. So we have another little piece of wood. This stuff, you can tell how many times I've used this thing. Many times. So what we're going to do is we are going to, let me back this out so we can get it to work. All right. And what we want to do is attach this piece of wood here to this board. Now the reason I have these nuts on here, just a spacer, because if I screw all the way in, it goes clear, through this board. The board's not thick enough to handle just the screw by itself. So I just put a couple of nuts in there, and there's a pretty good spacer. So we want this board here exactly square with this side. And so the way we're going to do that, look out now. Okay, and see, the beauty of building this thing on this board is we can move it around. So I can come down into this section and work on this if necessary, or it will be necessary. Not any if necessary, but will be. All right. So let's set that there. And I don't know whether my clamps are not deep enough to fit that. Will it work there? No, it's not going to work there either. Okay. I don't really want to go to the other end, so let's do, I'm trying to think of how I'm going to get out of that. Well, I know what I can do. I just have to get something to do it with. Let's do this. We've got no shortage of clamps. Let's get a bigger clamp. Talk about some clamps. Look at the clamps, a lot of clamps. All right, now this one, and the reason I'm having to do this is because we're further up this board. I could have cut this board, but if I cut this board, then the next time I need it for something that's 37 or 38 inches long, the board will be too small. So all we want to do is just secure this clamp right there. And I just want that to hold me as I put this one in. So I'm going to tighten this clamp up. Okay, that's square. We're sitting right on that line. So this isn't going to move. And see, I'm real funny about this. I don't want any movement here. And if I've got this thing clamped down, then it's not going to move. Okay, now we're going to move the clamp down this way. You can fasten yours down however you want to do it. Okay, now we've secured it there. Oh yeah, that's just beautiful. See there, we're on this nice carpenter square. Whoops. And we have this fastened down where it can't move because I've got it clamped. Let's just put this one right here. All right. Now let's undo this clamp. Okay, what that did for us is that has us squared up. Let's get this out of here so we can see. First step, this is the first step of getting this right. The first step actually is getting your drawing squared up. And let's see. This is a test. If this is not right, we'll fix it. Ooh-wee, look at that. Okay, you can't overdo this. See this square here? Okay, we know that we're square on this side because we just squared it up. Let's do it again. Okay, we know the drawing is square on this side. Okay, so this is our reference. Right there is our reference, right here. So let's take again, nice big carpenter square. Hit it down here. And look right, let me back her up just a hair there. Right up there. And, you know, I see there's a tiny, it's off right there. Okay. So let's take a look at, we appear to be, let me get this where you can see that. We appear to be out right up there just a hair. All right, so let's do this. Now's when you want to, that you're going to build this window here. If there's something out of square, now is when you want to find out about it. So let's do this. We're off a very small amount, but we are off. So let's figure out, I'm looking for my, here it is. Okay. Now, since we know that side over there is square, we want everything to reference off of that because it's that square and that square. So if we're off up here, let's try to figure out where are we off. Okay. So I'm not doing this one in millimeters, although I could. 16 3/4 are just a hair beyond 3/4. That's why I don't use the decimal system, because I don't want a hair off of here, hair off of there. I've got a, let's do that. If I'm going to show you, I might as well show you the right way. Okay, here's a 36-inch yardstick, but it also has metric on the other side. So let's go right here. Okay, I hope you can see it. That's 425 millimeters, or just about right on 425. And in fact, if we're down here, we come down here and we're 425 or 424.5 or something, we'll probably be okay because the width of that line right there is nearly a millimeter. So what did I say? Four, just a skosh beyond 425. Oh, look at that. 425. Okay, so we're okay. And I don't know. It might be something as simple as the tiniest amount is what I was looking at there. I'm still seeing. Let's go this way. Okay, I want to get on this line. Boy, I tell you what, I'm really not going to fool with this. That is so close to right. It's square. For all effective purposes, we're square. We might be, and like I say, this line right here is about a 1/2 millimeter wide. So we could be off just more or less the width of that line. That is not going to cause us any problem. All right, so, you know, one thing I think I will look at, just for fun, let's go here. And go right there. That's 798.5 millimeters. There it is. 798.5 millimeters. So this thing is square. You really want to make sure when you get started or get ready to start that you have this thing squared up, because there's a lot of work to building this thing. So if we start building this thing and we are out of square, then we're going to build this thing out of square, and when we get done with it, it's not going to be square. So if it had to go into a cavity, now you're going to have problems. And when you are putting this stuff on the outside of your work, you know, you can't grind that off. If you do, boy, you don't want to have to do stuff like that. So you want this thing square to start with. So we have a square cartoon squared up with our building sides. And this video is not going to last much longer because we come to a stopping spot. Okay, see that? There it is. Okay. Now I think the end result of this thing, we're going to have a panel about 32 by about 17 within a 1/4 inch or so of that. So here's how I build them. Nothing over here on this other side. No, only the right angle right here in this bottom. And the first thing that would happen here, it won't be today, might not even be over the next day or two, because I got some work to do to try to figure out, well, I got a couple other little minor glass deals to do, but I did manage to get this far. The first thing we'd do is come up with our border color here and our accents, whatever that's going to be. Now, I do know that, in fact, I drew this up today, and then I posted a picture of the completed panel, the drawing, on my Facebook page. And I wish I had a pencil. Here I do. I put this on, I can't remember the name of the other page I'm doing this work on, stained glass patterns and this, that, and another, whatever it is. Anyway, the people that are over there know what it is. But everybody's going to follow my videos here, because this will be the only place I'll post the videos on my page, because if I post things on that other page, the videos, I don't know, the administration people must not like videos or something, because they disappear. So they won't disappear off my page. We've got a long way to go here. This thing's going to take some work. All right, this glass right here, all this Celtic cords and knots, and look at this. Ooh, Celtic cords, knots. All that's going to be emerald green. For me, now you can do what you want. The background on mine is going to be glue chip. So everything behind this will be glue chip. And I don't have this figured out yet. The colors here. I mean, I got an idea, but not quite yet. So I'll dig through the glass and try to figure that out. I have an idea that I'm going to do these roses here in this beautiful pink textured glass I think. And then I'm going to do this one definitely in drapery glass. Now, you may have to go use something else, because drapery glass is not easy to find. And if you have drapery glass, I'm using a cranberry and white drapery glass. Your panel does not have to be the same color as mine, obviously. Okay, so we'll figure this out. You know, I'm just kind of thinking here, looking at this thing. You know what would be real pretty behind here, behind the flowers, and in the center of this thing? I think Bullseye makes it too, but a green, several shade, I don't have it right now, I put it away, several shades of green confetti behind here, just inside the cross here, around there, and around there. Ooh, that might look real good, real good. All right, so just thought of that. Anyway, we're gonna have a lot of fun here. I was working on the drawing of this, so people that have been following this thing for any length of time. And I was trying to get these cords to come across here and do all this kind of stuff. There just wasn't room coming out of that cross to bring those cords over and connect them to this side. So I redrew this thing and made this whole, if you just look at this side if you want to, made this whole Celtic knot thing here work in this upper part. And so, I don't know, I really like the way that we come from this closer in section down here, and we lift up into the cross, and then all across the top we have kind of a covering or a awning, if you will, across the top of the cross. That being emerald green against this glue chip is going to really be outstanding. I have an idea of this outside glass. I got to see if I have enough of it. If I don't, we'll come up with something else. But I think this drawing is really sharp. I won't say I struggled with it, but I had some consternation up here, and I wanted these cords originally, like I just said, wanted these cords to turn and go up into here, but I just couldn't make that look right. And I think what I've done here, they're just two. See, that's going to be a glue chip right there. So there's the two green cords running into this little pedestal here, which holds this upper part up. And now for those of you that are planning on following me along on this, I'm thinking of, we'll get a break here early on and I kind of like to work toward the really hard stuff. So we'll start down here and right in here, and we'll build all this here, across here. We probably won't do this. We'll just leave this part out till because it's copper foil, right? We can set it in later. And we'll build across here and head up this direction right here. We might, I don't know whether we'll continue on up into here or not. We're going to kind of, this is kind of you get into a rhythm with something that's this challenging or this difficult. And what we'll want to do is kind of ramp ourselves up. And I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I want to ramp ourselves up into the difficulty. So this is like a, medium difficult. And then as we come up into here, if we decide at this point along here somewhere to go ahead and start on the cross, there's some difficulty here. When we get into the real nitty-gritty, that'll start up in here. So when we work in this area right here, that's more difficult than it looks because the pieces are relatively small and narrow. And I clean the drawing up as I go. All right. And so we'll come around and get this section. We're getting into the hard stuff right here. This will be difficult. And I won't say difficult, but certainly not impossible. So as we move from this section here on up here, we might go ahead and add this in before we go here, kind of saving this until we really get onto a roll with this thing and get comfortable with working with all these little small pieces. So as we go with this thing, I'll share everything with you that I know that will get this done. And there'll be people that, I'm not telling you have to do it my way, but I will say this. If you see this drawing and you look at it and you think, well, I'm going to go ahead and take off on that thing, and I'm going to cut all the glass first, and then I'm going to build it. I can tell you right now, that is a mistake. Because if you think you're going to cut this kind of stuff here in advance, then come back in here and make all those pieces fit and all of them connect together. Well, if you can do that, and I've been doing this for 50 years, if you can do that, you're better at this than I am. And certainly there are people that are better than this than I am. But I'm going to show you how to build this thing one piece at a time and make all these things connect and make them work. And I'll show you how to do it. Okay, well, that's all I have. There's my girl Annie Lennox. I like her singing. Anyway, I can't think of anything else I need to say other than we're going to start on this pretty soon. So I'll have videos that I'll post and give you the tips and what's going on with what as we move through this thing. So you can certainly come back and watch the videos later. I don't expect everyone, or maybe anyone, I don't know, to build this thing at the pace I'm going to build it. I'm not really in a hurry. So I feel like I have the whole winter to do this thing. And I may take the whole winter to do it. You don't really want to be in a hurry with anything that's this complex, because you're just going to make a bunch of mistakes. And we don't want any mistakes here. So what will happen is that we'll build this thing nice and slow. And don't let it intimidate you. It doesn't intimidate me, because the reason it doesn't intimidate me is I'm not looking at this whole thing thinking I got to build this whole. We're going to do this thing a little at a time. If you look at, we'll put this piece of glass in right across here, and I'll show you why you're going to put this glass in before you do any of this glass. But anyway, we get this glass in here, these three pieces of glass right here, after the border, of course. And then we come right over here and we just look at this. You're just working on one little piece at a time here. And we're going to work on each area until we get it. Look here, we need to break that thing up. Ooh, I don't want that hook. Let's go right here. Boy, there's another hook. Well, we may break it there and do it there. Anyway, we've got some stuff to fix here. And when you do something like that, you got to go over to the other side, wherever that is. Well, see, that's different on this side because it crossed over, crossed under. So let's go here. Let's just there you go. We'll make it work. We'll get it all figured out. Anything that we need to fix, that's the beauty of doing, one piece at a time. Anything that we need to fix, we'll fix as we go, making it look really good. But I'm excited to get into here. The more I think, I want to come along, maybe, I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. I put this piece in. It's smart to put these three in, come back down here, and then work here. But I'll show you, if you'll follow me and go along with me on this thing, all of your pieces will line up. And that's the key to building something like this, is you need that cord to stay in alignment, perfect alignment. And I'll show you exactly how to do that. You get done with this thing, and I know what this is going to look like already, because I know what I can do with something like this. So I want to take that knowledge that I have and the skills that I have, share them with you, and you get to the same place I am with this thing. I'm thinking right now it might be smart just to put a little line right there. There's no sense of killing yourself right there. See, we've got a piece here that's not too bad. One here, one there. Looking at any of the rest of this. The rest of it looks pretty easy. All right. Well, anyway, this should be a lot of fun for those that are going to follow along on this. We'll take quite a few weeks to build this thing. I know what, I tell you what, when you get done with this thing, it's going to be stunning. I'll show you how, with soldering as we go, cleaning things up. I'll explain everything as we go. If you have questions, and you'll be asking questions along the way, everybody be on the same page. I can tell you right now, this stuff right here is, you have your work cut out for you here. I've done a bunch of this kind of stuff. And that is, but now you could leave that out, see, and then just have a piece of single glass in there. But what this kind of stuff does is just elevates your work up to another level. So I'm excited to build this thing. And I've done so much glass work over the last 3 or 4 or 5 months, 6 months, you know, that went somewhere and for other people, which is fine. That keeps the business going. But I want to build this thing. And when we get done with this, if somebody wants it real bad, they can have it. And I don't know how I'm going to outdo this thing. I don't want to try to top this. I've done a couple of other Celtic crosses. And what I'm doing with this one is trying to top the last one. But I think we're near the mountaintop right here. I don't think we're going to get, I don't want to, that's like I went off in that tree of life trying to outdo myself. I got buried into that thing. I mean, I got it done. I liked and enjoyed it. But this is really a beautiful piece. I can see that already. Love this design. Okay, well, that's it. We'll come back in another day or two when we start figuring out this glass work. Oh, you know, if I had that little ruler, I would look at one more thing. There it is. These are supposed to be 34 millimeters. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Anyway, hang on. We're going to get started here pretty quick. Thank you.